See, is this working here, guys? I just want to check out real quick. All right, cool. We are up and running. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, October. Let me check my volume. All right, looks like I'm good. It is Tuesday, October 13th, 2020. Economic news events at 2 a.m. last night. We had the unemployment rate and the claimant account change for the Great Britain pound. And then at 5 a.m. we had the zoo economic sentiment for the European zone. This morning, small business index at 6 a.m. And then at an hour before the bell, CPI numbers came out. That's really it. Nothing heavy for a news event outside of the earnings that Perry went over this morning coming up. And then tomorrow we have PPI numbers for the US market. So I do want to start off here. I've titled this video Where to Look for Longs in Gold and Silver. Well, we're right about to trade that level here in gold. And what that level is the full 50% retracement from Wednesday's low of last week to the high of what is Sunday night, and that's a 1908.3. We are trading it right now. We are also completing a traditional short. Now, what the longs need to see is a break back above the next measured move short, but you can see we also have, just these previous highs we had broken out of that could act as support as well below. So anywhere from 1908 to even as low as 1902. It's about a 7 point range on this support level that I am expecting to hold. Now the profit target on this move would bring us back above 1954. What we've run into is this trend line that's continued to hold since the 18th of September. That's really when we began this trend down, and we touched it most recently on the Sunday night and Friday close. So we're pulling into our first 50% retracement here since this swing higher. All right, and that is where I really want to highlight this morning's trade plan. Silver, the support level is a little bit further down below. It's a 24.33 or 24.33 half. What you what you can be aware of though is if we do trade that gold support, we might not get down to this support level here at 24.33, but that is to be determined. Right now, silver has a downside target of 24.48 half here for the day, and then we'll draw the next major move. We are bearish below the traditional sequence that leads us lower in silver. Moving on to the Russell. Now, the Russell has completed what is this higher time frame extension target on Friday, and we spent a little time above that, but we're getting back below it, and I expect a move down to 1621 here in the Russell, unless of course we hold this 38 right below where we're currently trading at 1628. But what I'm looking for is the extension that held on Wednesday for us to retest that 50% retracement at 1621. And if that does not hold, if there's a deeper pullback here, we have the possibility of rotating all the way back down into this daily same anchor new high, which would take us down into a 1603.8. So 1603.8 and 1621 are going to be the two support levels I'm looking at. You can see since that overnight session, we have a very technical traditional sequence. Once to target, we have that swing high to low. That's got rejected. Downside target, selling pressure, probably get that 1621 first thing in the morning. Moving on to the S&P 500, the extension I have is drawn from the overnight high before the European Open Thursday session going into Friday. The low is the 38% retracement of the overnight session. What I would like to see is us actually trade the 50%, and that's down at 3,500 half. So 3,500 half is going to be the anticipated support level here for me in the S&P 500, and we're just going to maybe consolidate inside of this extension. We're still bullish above these levels. There's nothing really too bearish about this price action. Even if we do make that new low, we're basically retesting that breakout that began at 10 o'clock. We just went straight up from yesterday, and so that's a 3,500 half. Moving on to the Dow, which this was the extension going into the close of yesterday. Now, we've already traded the 38, we've already traded the 50. We're kind of just hanging on here. So what I like to do in these situations is what is the next potential support level below? And for me, that's the extension from the October 1st high to high. That 50% retracement is a 28,404, and the 38 is 28,508. So they're about 104 points away from one another. If we do crack through, it's all going to depend. What do we do at the open? Do we get a bid out of the low here and hold these supports? Or if we get selling pressure, 28,508 and then 28,404 are going to be the two levels to watch below for the Dow. Moving on to the NQ, which is far ahead of everything else. And we've made that new high in the overnight session. The other markets didn't. I'm looking for an even deeper pullback. I just have the swing high here of the October 1st high to high. In that 50% retracement, there's also a previous daily leg start here. I want to see us get back below 11,950. Now, I know that's quite a ways away, and we definitely could hold more aggressive sequences, but this has just been such a huge move here. I'm really going to be on the observation side of the NQ unless we get that deeper pullback. So it's either going to be watch and wait or get a pullback down below 11,954. Moving on to oil, which is incredibly technical. Yesterday we came into the full 50% retracement long. This is the equivalent setup of what gold is trading here today. We traded that. It was a perfect reaction. There was an extension that broke. I talked about the next traditional as well as the 78 fade. Both of those levels free traded. And then in the overnight session, we had a halfway back to target. We just traded our next measured move here at a 39.89. Upside targets are 40.70. And if we can clear, I just have this trend line drawn, we can really begin working our way up towards what is a higher time frame profit target of 42.61, which takes us back to the top of the daily range that we have seen so far here since the post-COVID breakdown. So that 42.61, if and when we do get up there, that lines up with, you can see all the way on the left side of my screen going back to the 31st of August. That's going to be a resistance level. It's a profit target. It's a previous low, but we can make our way all the way up to that 42.61 before finding resistance. And then for the USD JPY, there's two different ways to look at this market. One, if we just rotate up into the 105.67, that's the traditional short from last week's high on Wednesday. There's also a long sequence here, so it's a whatever trades first. We had a traditional 2 target, and then you could look at that next traditional, just that swing low from the European Open, too high. It's a 105.43. Its target isn't that big. It's about a 15 pip target. So a 105.67 resistance or a 105.43 support there for the USD JPY. Aussie dollar has come out of its resistance level. We were looking at the 72.09. Now we pushed through it, and then sellers began coming in. We did trade the traditional from yesterday's morning trade plan at 71.68. At this point, it's a second test. I'd like to actually see the second test trade down back below. I have a support level at like a 71.61. So I'd be looking for here like a little bit of an FU trade, which is just basically us breaking below the low of the day and then reversing back above. So a move below 71.64 into the 71.61s and then back above 71.68. I know that's quite a tongueful, but that's what I'd like to see, a move below the low and then back above and through the 50 and then take the long potentially on the move back through. And then the euro also, yesterday we had a 117.81 support level, 117.81 traded. We did rotate all the way up about 15-16 pips, but now we're here for the second test, so I'm not really interested in this second test. Instead, if we can break down back to the bottom of the range, the 117.45 to the 117.50 zone, that is where I'd be looking for a potential support level here for the euro USD. And you can see we're just cruising along this. There's a short trend line here, just cruising along. If we bounce up to that short trend line from where we're currently trading and it lines up with the current halfway back, that's at a 118.03. That's definitely a level I'd look for, and I'm going to set an alert there at that 118.03. All right, moving on now to the pound. This was a alert I actually sent out yesterday in the alert channel. The full 50% retracement short. This is a great double confirmation level on top of a traditional negative 23 traded yesterday. I don't have any support into the 129.63. And if we could rotate up into a halfway back from highs at the 130.43, that'd be a great entry into a potential short trend down into that support at a 130.43 or the 139.63 below as support. USD CAD, praying we see this extension trade. It is the swing low from the fifth to low. The 38% retracement is a 131.54. The 50 I like a little better. Let me actually adjust this draw to this. We did make a very slight new low. The 50% retracement is going to be a 131.70. I'd love to see that. Otherwise, I don't really have any support to the 130.40. So I'd love to see us rotate up and then back lower here for the USD CAD. But that's going to wrap up my morning trade plan here, guys. I'm going to share my levels with every one of you guys in the Startup Trading Trade Room. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me with my YouTube rankings. If you know anybody interested in futures trading or learning technical analysis patterns that I teach, feel free to share this video with them. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the trade room. Take care.